Number one, we all know that San Francisco is the heart of the tech scene, right? The Bay Area actually has the most new billionaires per capita or
Yep.
something like that in the world.
In the
But
world, yes.
but your high school, which is in the city of San Francisco, you said that your school couldn't afford to print paper,
Sure.
so y'all didn't have homework. The seat of power for venture capital, tech, which is, and I really wanted to bring that up. Like, I wanted
It
people
like
to know
it
that.
goes deep too, because like also too like in 2020, I was part of a coalition named 4HD, and we were talking about Black Lives Matter in San Francisco, and one of the talking points, which Gonna Goes Global was really going into more than anything, was education in San Francisco, and also too redlining in San Francisco, and how redlining has created disparities for people who are Black and brown within the city. My class, so I originally was going to high school in Walnut Creek, and I was one of the only brown people at school. For those that don't know, I'm Latina and Black. So when I went to O'Connell, we had two white kids in the whole school. Everybody else was BIPOC. So for me, I was just like, whoa, this is a culture shock. But I was like, also too, I'm around my own people. But the schools in Walnut Creek, what I was doing in sixth and seventh grade, I was doing in ninth, 10th, and 11th grade over here, or
Mhm.
10th and 11th grade in O'Connell. So it's just like the level of education and disparities isn't there. And also too, a lot of these tech companies in San Francisco get a lot of tax breaks. These taxes are what are going to fund our schools. Also too, in San Francisco, the funding of the schools typically is based around test scores. For O'Connell, most of the students there were immigrants. So most of them, English was not their first language. So with English not being their first language, I'm just gonna let her bark. So, as I was saying, English being a second language, if you're gonna take an aptitude test in English when English isn't your language, it's gonna affect the test scores, and the test scores are how all these schools are getting the funding. When I was a GED tutor, a lot of the students that I worked with were high school graduates from San Francisco, whether it be from the Mission District, downtown, or from Hunters Point. A lot of the students that I worked with at the Wraparound Project were illiterate, even though they were graduates. So it's
Wow.
also going to show people of color were just getting passed through the school systems in San Francisco. There wasn't that attention or that care. Even though there's so much money in San Francisco, if you go to San Francisco, where is the money even at? It's not there. It's like also too like looking at what's happened to Westfield Mall, what's happened throughout downtown, what's happened throughout Civic Center, what's happening with the unhoused community, what's happening within social justice structures in San Francisco. There's money there, it's just not being allocated to where it needs to be allocated to. And also to politics within San Francisco actually getting things to change and streamline, there's a lot of blocks within that as well.
Mm.
So I love being from San Francisco, but there's just so many different avenues where being from San Francisco puts you at so many different disadvantages compared to being from other places. It's a great place to live, and it's like that's not the reality when you're really from there if you're a person of color too. Because on the other hand, if you look at Lowell High School in San Francisco, it's one of the best high schools in the state, but also too, the area that is in, it's predominantly Asian and white. So it's also too looking at how redlining has affected San Francisco and has affected the education of people growing up there as well. A lot of these schools are in grandfather clause areas in San Francisco. So a lot of on Billionaires Row and a lot of those like multi-million-dollar homes in San Francisco, most of those are inherited properties because in San Francisco there is the grandfather clause, meaning you're paying property taxes on the original purchase price of the home, not its actual current price. So it's like these are 20, 30, $50 million homes, but if their grandpas bought it in the 1920s for $100,000, they're paying the $100,000 versus like if you go now to the inner cities where it's Hunters Point, if you go to parts of the Mission District, now we're getting a lot of these true native San Franciscans who are being bought out of their homes or being evicted, and most of these property values are there's nothing under $1 million in San Francisco. So it's like you're getting into these inner cities for $1 million, but your tax dollar that you're paying is higher versus the people living on Billionaire Row, but your education's down here and theirs is up here. There's a lot of those types of disparities happening in San Francisco as well, where it's like And then they say that there's going to be changes and shifts, but it's like it's crazy. I graduated high school 10 years ago. So it's just like 10 years post that, it's still the same cycle that's happening. And the funny thing with O'Connell is my mom actually went to O'Connell and graduated from there. So then it's like when she was there 20 years before me, she was like still going through and finding things. And then also too, I brought home a textbook one day that I probably shouldn't have taken off of campus, but I was like, I want to read it. And when I opened it, my mom's like, wait, that's the same textbook from when I went there. Like she couldn't believe it. Versus when I went to schools in Walnut Creek, we were getting brand new textbooks every year. And we also had three sets of textbooks, one to take home, one to leave in the locker for when you had studying on campus, and then one in class.